goddamn welcome to the Double Platinum Podcast. Howdy, folks. My name's Drew Robertson, and I'm the host. Joining me from all the way across the room is my good friend, co-host, named my brother, Aaron Carter. What's going on, brother?
Thank you, Drew Robertson. I'm Aaron Carter. Same name as the pop singer. Not as popular, but I'm definitely cooler, I like to think. I don't want candy, just so we can get that joke out of the way. And yeah, I love making music. I'm an audio engineer in the works, and that's just a little bit about me.
Yeah, you know what? Just slap that, reverse that, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, same deal. I mean, I'm an audio engineer. We're both in audio. I mean, Double Platinum Podcast evokes the idea that we are somehow famous and we've sold millions of records. Ironic, because this is our first episode.
Absolutely.
And I was gonna say, like, if you've never seen the show, good, because it's new. I'd be concerned if you did. And how did you invent time travel? But yeah, you know, it kind of invokes this idea of
come back and see our podcast.
Exactly. Yeah, we've engineered this moment. It's like the worst episode of Doctor Who ever.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we're the Double Platinum Podcast. We like to talk about music, life, all points in between. We're gonna go on a journey with you each and every week.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'll be serious. Sometimes we won't be. Sometimes we'll just be completely off the balls, completely nutty. I don't even know where we're going with this kind of stuff. But we'll make it work. We might take the long way around, but it will make sense.
We'll get there.
It's up to you guys as our listeners to try to figure that out. I mean, at the beginning of every episode, make sure you open your workbooks and just start a new line and just follow along with us here. But yeah, so starting with kind of the ideas that we were talking about. You had a topic you want to start it out that's a little more serious than funny.
A little serious, a little dirty, a little risque, something usually people don't talk about.
Is it important?
Yeah, it is kind of. It's actually MIDI routing and devices and audio routing.
Because it's cable porn.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, audio porn.
There you go.
So nice. But no, I feel like audio routing and audio routing in particular is something that especially with the rise of vinyl players and stuff and people knowing how to connect things to speakers and whatnot, it can actually be really confusing because it's not always just straight up plug your aux cord in, play music, and you're good to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it can get really complicated, can't it? Like, I'm thinking, if anybody's ever looked at their stereo in their home, assuming they have a stereo in their home, which most people do.
Or a receiver,
whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Most people are familiar with their phones, right? You plug a headphone in and music come out the other end.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever seen a stereo, you usually have, or TV, you've got your RCA jacks kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I know for sure, because I don't really know much about MIDI routing and stuff. I know audio routing, but there's no standard. I mean, most places they're red, right, left, black, or white. Usually is kind of the thing, but depending on where you bought the unit or whatever, it can be different.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know jack about MIDI.
Yeah. Well, MIDI routing, it's kind of it's more so actually in the software.
All right.
So MIDI devices like a piano, you look and you buy say you buy a MIDI piano, it's got tons of faders and knobs that you're like, they don't actually do anything, but they're just there to kind of make it look nice. Well, you can actually do things with those sliders and faders and everything. So within your DAW, your digital audio workstation, you can actually in most scenarios, you can right-click a parameter, so say a knob to change a frequency or something. You can say, I want it so that every time I turn this knob, it turns that frequency knob. So I can do things with my hands instead of going through a bunch of pages. It's kind of more hardware. And
so this is what you were showing me the other day, right? Where you had your keyboard remapped to be like a compressor or whatever, right?
I really made full use of this. I have like a launch pad, which is just like a beat grid where I can punch out a beat or whatever. And then I've got a launch control, which is like it's just a MIDI board where it's got knobs on it and some buttons on it. So what I did is I used this so that every button turns on an effect. Each knob controls a parameter on that effect. And on my keyboard, I have the faders and I MIDI'd them to a compressor. And then I MIDI'd 3 other faders to an EQ3 for the mids, lows, and highs.
Right, so just like a classic 3-band.
It's really, once you start thinking about it and you're like, you can really control anything in your audio work space with some buttons if you have MIDI controllers.
You know what? I see. Okay, here's what I was envisioning. I was envisioning like you've got like instruments routed crazily through MIDI. But actually, that makes more sense. It's like
Mhm.
key mapping, effectively.
Yeah, exactly. Key mapping with cooler buttons.
Yeah, but you know what? That is something that personally I've overlooked. Like I don't.
Yeah, well,
I never considered that. Why would it's on the screen. I got a mouse. What am I like? An invalid? I have no arms. No, that's actually a really great idea, and I'm glad that you took the initiative in doing that.
yeah, I never really thought about it. And then I was like, I've got these buttons, I've got parameters. Like, I don't feel like clicking through. Why not just turn them?
You know what? So much in audio engineering is let's slap a plug-in on it, or
Mhm.
let's automate it, right? And
Exactly.
I don't even want to look at it. I'm gonna pretend. I know the compressor's there. I don't want to sully my vision by looking at it. It's
Yeah.
automated. It's done. Don't care. That's it. Throw it out the window. Same thing with gear. You got to learn
Mhm.
how to use your gear, and that's something that's
Oh, and use it to your max too.
Yeah,
Like,
like,
I never
fully
knew I could
using
do
it.
any of this with any of my gear. Then I was just like, oh, MIDI mapping. Oh my god, all of my gear just got like doubled in value in
Yeah.
my eyes.
yeah, it is so much more useful. And like, it even starts to get into it too when you're doing stuff like setting up for live gigs and that kind of stuff,
Mhm.
where you can have a specific. Can you save like those key maps to like a profile? Is that like a thing you
Yeah,
can do?
so you can make like a template project file so that like every time you open up that project file, everything's already mapped out for you, and you can kind of have like, so you're not starting off from square one. like,
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time.
So like if you were doing like live gigging, you could
Yeah, absolutely. You can have like a
how
live
that
gig
met up and,
project file, and you could do like a in the studio project file, so that when you open it up, say you opened up your live profile, all those knobs would do things completely different than if you had them in your studio.
Rock on. So you're talking about Ableton too, to be specific.
Yeah, well, it also works in FL Studio.
Okay.
But Ableton and FL Studio are the ones I've worked with the most. So
Okay.
I
I'm sure it would
confident.
work in Pro Tools. I mean, I've never tried it, but Pro Tools is
yeah, actually no, you can do it in Pro Tools.
Yeah.
yeah.
okay.
I've done it before.
I mean, I'm assuming it would be because it's computer software. They're
Mhm.
very malleable.
Yeah,
Most of my experience too is with Ableton.
Yeah.
Although I'm getting more familiar with Logic and Pro Tools.
yeah, me too.
Oh, you know what? There's a treat that I'm gonna link. Okay, so here's where we're gonna get a little silly for a minute. I have a video that I'm gonna link in the show doc, and I'm gonna challenge Aaron to watch it later as well. That is a very, very old video about Pro Tools LE. So if anybody follows, if any of our crowd of listeners is an audio engineer or into audio, maybe you're an artist, maybe you're an engineer. I don't know. Hey, pick your poison.
Exactly.
Pro Tools LE was one of the older systems, and it was one of the first ones that you could have on a regular computer. You didn't need a built rig
Also,
around it.
it wasn't like
It wasn't
a
like
music computer. Like
yeah.
that's its
Like
job.
that some of the first computers were built into the freaking
exactly.
console.
I think Yamaha might have had one.
Yamaha had one.
Yeah.
Focusrite for the Focusrite consoles
Yeah.
had one.
Mhm.
But they all worked over a bridge when they actually came to the
They were
12
so
consoles.
expensive too.
Oh, crazy expensive.
Like-
But like at that time, it was still when Avid was like, no, you have to use our gear.
hmm
So only our converters, only our console, only our interface. Trying to make that exclusivity environment. And I don't know. The video is really, really funny. I mean, I'm sure the gentleman in the video is very knowledgeable. But given the fact that we use Pro Tools every day, we are recording into Pro Tools right now.
hmm
Given that this is where we're at, looking back and looking at his comments is like, man, drugs are terrible. Don't do cocaine, kids. Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Because like this, I don't know, or like all the drugs ever. I don't know what kind of.
Is
Kinda
this guy
cock-
just way too stoked on Pro Tools?
No, the opposite. More, or maybe not drug. What's something not pot, but something else that's really like a downer. I don't
Let's
know.
go with heroin.
Let's go.
Heroin's probably
Sure.
downer.
Well, no, I would assume that heroin's whatever. He's taking a lot of drugs. He's not all there.
downer drugs, just to be specific.
Yeah,
so we
like
can
whatever it is,
capture the mood.
he's perma-fried, like a Mick Jagger,
There we go.
Keith Richards
Okay,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
kind
like,
of just like.
and he's got
riding
the
it out.
long hair, and
Oh
like
yeah.
not to say that like to knock on that, because I mean it's almost a requirement if you're going to be in the rock world. The
Have
hair
long
must
hair.
be a 7-inch length or longer.
But at the same time, long hair also sometimes indicates a free spirit.
Yeah, that's a valid statement. But yeah, so anyway, to wrap around the subject, the video is
Mhm.
really funny. It'll be in the show doc. If you want to giggle, go and watch it. I saw it last night before the show. It's really, really funny. If we were doing this a little more differently, we'd show it to you guys now, and we'd get a reaction to Aaron live in the studio. But it's real funny, guys. I highly recommend you guys go look it up. But yeah. Anyway, to get back to the other point, not Pro Tools LE in crazy YouTube videos. We were talking about some of our life experiences too, and the way we've gone with different things, and the thing that all musicians, regardless of who you are, have in common is gigs.
And gig horror stories too.
Exactly.
Jesus
on the nose.
Christ.
Gig horror stories. And everybody's got them. I have them. Aaron's got them.
You ever not been paid?
Yes.
There
as
you
one
go.
fact.
Perfect.
But
us both.
oh, excuse me. I'm suffering from a cold, guys. Excuse me. To be fair, there was no guarantee of pay in the first part, but it was implied that we would receive some form of compensation.
Yeah.
I was a kid, right? There was no compensation. There was no golden key. There was nothing. It was like, thank you, good day, sir.
Nothing. You get nothing. It's like when Willy Wonka yelled at you in the end of
Yeah,
Charlie and the Factory.
I had a Willy Wonka moment.
You got scared at the end.
I didn't turn into a blueberry though. For anybody wondering,
I have a good gig story actually. So I'm a DJ. I like DJing and stuff. Not like super like crazy raves or anything, but more just like casual events, like things that need music. And I was DJing this prom party, and I had DJed at this house before. Like it was all good. Last time I DJed for free, like to kind of build a relationship with the person.
Yep.
And this time I came early. I nailed it, right? Like I came early, did everything, set up.
You were on point.
Oh yeah, stayed till like it rained, right? It rained and I had to obviously take stuff down. So I got there originally, and I came there and I parked. And when I came there and I parked, the dad of the house came out screaming at me, Drew. Screaming at me. And I was like, what's going on? And he said, you hit my car, you hit my car, you hit my car. And I'm freaking out, right? Because I'm like, there's no way I hit this guy's car. And I get it. I didn't even feel anything in my truck, right?
Yeah.
And I'm giving this guy a benefit of the doubt. Like, maybe I screwed up. Maybe I hit this guy's car, right? Like, accidents happen. I got out. My car is our truck is a good couple inches away from this car. Very close, I'll admit.
Yeah.
And he's still screaming at me. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like
he had you, like, this was like, no matter who it was, he was yelling at someone.
Like, what do I do? So I actually yelled back at him, and I said, listen, man, like, you can very clearly see I didn't hit your car.
Yeah.
And things were really awkward for a little bit, but I continued, that was a problem me and him had. It wasn't really a problem with the music or the party or anything, right? It was totally separate. So I finished setting up and everything, and then the pay was already quite low because I established the relationship with them. I was kind of building it up, kind of building my profile. And at the end of the night, I just said, if you don't have the cash, I'll come another time. I was very all right about it. And let's just say to this date, I have not seen this cash, and they refused to pay me.
Oh, no.
Due to vehicle damages that I did not cause. Isn't that brutal? That's my gig DJ horror story.
You know what, though? But I feel like when you're doing those kind of small gigs, it happens. Like, I know.
Oh, for sure.
I don't have. My horror story is not that bad. I've heard of other people having that bad. Like a good friend of mine who does a lot of gigging around the Greater Toronto area.
Mm-hmm.
Played at a bar and then didn't get paid because the bar went bankrupt and got broke. Like, he finished the gig at the end of the night, not because the gig was over, but because the cops came and shut the gig down because they were like, he didn't realize that it was in. Oh God.
I mean, like,
what is this bar? Some bar in Barrie. I don't know who owns it now. Now it's actually not that bad.
We shouldn't drop any names.
No, I'm not going to drop any names.
Sure.
I won't say anything because I don't want to start a witch hunt or like anybody do anything. But needless to say, it did not go well.
I mean,
and then he's had gigs canceled near closer to where I'm from. There's a nice little restaurant. It's been reopened and wonderful restaurant. Great gig space. Kind of tiny, but very intimate. We'll call it intimate. There's one of those okay, not to sidetrack you, but there's one of those buzzwords that people like to throw around for gigs. It's an intimate space. Okay, number one, it's bullshit. It's what that means is there's like 5 square feet to work in, and I hope you don't mind sitting in someone's lap while you play your guitar. Number two, like it can be nice. So this space in particular is very, very nice, very old school pub kind of feel to it.
Absolutely.
But anyway, he had a gig on Saturday night,
Mhm.
and he was waiting for the call to confirm, and not getting it. And he's like, oh, whatever, I got to be there for 7 to set up, whatever, so I'll go.
Yeah.
He shows up, nobody's there. Locked down, no lights on, nothing in the parking lot. Big sign on the door, closed by the bank. The owner had been paying rent for the building
Oh
in
my
like
God.
6 months, and they shut it down the
You
day
know-
of his gig. And he's like, well,
That you know what, that sucks, but you know when you think about it, he's not the one that got fucked the hardest in that story.
no, all the waitresses and the wait
Yeah,
staff and everything, like.
exactly.
And then now, thankfully, when it reopened, all the staff came back, and
Oh,
it was
okay. That's
it was
good.
it was very, very good. The new owners were very, very good. They didn't want to screw anybody because it was a local guy from town.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it sucked for everybody. Like everybody's like,
For
oh
sure.
well, all right, that's a whole bunch of stuff that's out the door.
Mm-hmm.
But the worst horror story gig that I can think of that I personally played on, didn't happen to me. I was in the band. I was a jazz band. Our guitar player got electrocuted.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was raining. Not relax. He's fine.
Okay,
This
I was
doesn't
gonna
end
say.
in heartbreak.
Jeez.
But we were playing at an outdoor gig at an arena for
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter. It was like a rummage sale or something like
Yeah.
that. And we were playing for the line because the line usually starts at like 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
and stays there till noon because it's just a whole arena full of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we usually played 3 or 4 sets, 7-hour set, take a
Mhm.
break, hour set, whatever. Halfway through the morning, it starts to rain, and we thought we were pretty well isolated, but we weren't up off the ground. We were still on the ground. Well, there was a short in our guitar player's amp, so he goes to pick his guitar up, and it wasn't bad. It was just enough though that he picked it up and was just like, bah! And he drops the guitar,
Yeah.
breaks the guitar.
Oh.
Yeah, he got a mild electric shock, he had like a burn on his hand, just a little
Get
bit
out.
from just the high string that he grabbed because he just grabbed the neck like kind
Yeah.
of like if you ever seen a guitar neck, if you guys should know what a guitar looks like. Went out and grabbed it and it was like, yeah, no, well, gig's over, guys. So
Electrocution.
yeah, that was and then and I got my I am also a classical musician. I play the French horn.
Mhm.
I got my hand stuck in the bell of my French horn because we were playing in like -20 weather.
Oh.
And if you ever played a brass instrument, you'll know that it gets kind of clammy when you play.
Mhm.
And I went to shove my hand back in the bell, and as I'm playing, the metal got really cold,
And you got stuck.
and my hand was a little bit stuck. So I took the skin off my hand. Thankfully, I haven't done too
Calling
many bad
Paula
gigs.
Dean, get some butter.
Yeah,
Put your arm
right.
right
Yeah,
out there.
pretty much. Yeah, don't play in cathedrals in -30-degree weather, kids. It's not fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a really
Um,
unenjoyable
I mean, we
time.
sounded good.
That's good. That's what it's all about.
That's a consolation prize. We sounded really good. But it makes you think about stuff.
Yeah.
You ask questions. Like there's been times when you've been doing stuff, even gigs that have been good. Like this was a good gig or whatever.
Mhm.
But you're still there's always going to be a moment where you're standing there and go, what am I doing? Either because what am I doing because this is awesome and I need to do it more,
Yeah.
or what am I doing because man I done fucked up.
Yeah.
How did I get in this? Like it's a dive bar that's on fire. Like
There's
what life choices?
nothing worse than being the one playing the music or something and
Yeah.
then something fucks up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like,
Somehow it's invariably your fault too.
well, absolutely. Especially when I'm like DJing and stuff.
Mm.
I've actually become pretty pro at I call them recoveries.
Yeah.
So, say you're DJing, you're playing music, and all your music just cuts out.
Yeah.
Okay. A good Aaron Carter recovery is right when it cuts out, just yell something. Yell something at the audience like, how's everyone doing tonight? Or just keep yelling like kind of questions
That,
or pump up things while
I
you're
can
fixing the audio. You know what I mean? Like, how's everybody doing tonight? Oh, it's working. Hit play. Yeah, everyone party. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
you just kind of
yeah.
like that hype guy. And then you're cut
You're
out.
on hype
and-
man.
Exactly. And you're,
That can get dangerous though, because my brain just kind of goes to streams of curse words when it's panicking.
oh.
My vocabulary gets real limited, real
I was
quick.
gonna- maybe you shouldn't just yell. You're gonna yell something offensive to somebody, and it's just gonna be like, why is that guy just swearing over there?
Nobody's gonna understand. Actually, my first reaction would just be like throwovers on stage with me at the crowd. There you go. He's your problem now. Bye. I'm out. See you later, suckers. Yeah. That's the thing. Like I haven't gigged as much in my professional life now as a independent kind of person. So like I don't have any. I'm sure there will be horror stories.
Oh, independent
They'll happen.
gigs are.
We'll share. We'll
they're-
share it with
They're
you.
scary.
Booking gigs is always a nightmare. Trying to contact venues and
Hmm.
I have some other horror stories. They're not mine though, so I won't share them here. But I know of a few that are like so shady. Like
Oh,
we'll pay
yeah.
you no problem, and then it's like in cash at the door, and there's like promises of prizes and things like that
There's
that
a
like
weird
don't
amount of change in
materialize.
there.
Yeah, like there's oddly like everything's in nothing but like $5 increments.
Hey, you're
and
getting
non-sequential bills.
107.25.
Yeah, right. Like or you can win this thing, and then that thing never there, and like, oh look, we're gonna call a ticket, and nobody has the ticket.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
I worked at a grocery store where we were giving away a barbecue,
Yeah,
and there was raffles for this barbecue for so long,
yeah.
and they never gave the barbecue away. It was sitting in the back storage compactor room for like,
Oh,
oh man, it was like I felt so bad. I walked past this brand new barbecue, I'm like, no one's getting it,
yeah.
no one's getting the
it's never
barbecue.
happening.
no one's winning it.
I worked for an office for a while, and life pro tip number 1: don't work for a call center. Just throw that one out there. Life pro tip number 2: if there's a contest in your office, and you can pick the person out who normally gets stuff, even like you can always tell these people because they sit closer to the boss. They've
Mhm.
got more privileges than anybody else. Yada yada yada. I will bet you any amount of money that whenever there's a contest, they'll be magically the ones that win. Always.
Oh yeah, just for some reason.
Excuse me. Oh man, I'm dying here. But yeah, like
It's like the opposite of Toby in The
Ridiculous.
Office.
yes, yeah, the opposite. If you polar opposite of that, and you can always spot that person too. And it doesn't matter what crowd you're in.
Oh, for sure.
If you're in a musician thing and you'd be like, oh yeah, that guy's sitting right beside the conductor. That's him right there.
Or it's usually like it'll be a manager and then somebody talking in the back room, and everyone's up front working while it's busy, and it's like, hey, do you guys want to help? We're doing something. We're talking.
yeah.
okay?
We're a little busy.
having a conversation.
It's not a unique thing to any industry. It's always going to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then to kind of go into another little roundabout explanation of randomness, you were talking about some of the games. So one of the things we want to do in the show too is to break things up with things like
Well, segments.
games, little segments in little bits. We're trying things on for size for the first episode, so we always encourage people to email us and talk to us. We do have an email. Surprisingly enough, I was smart before the show when I set it up.
Oh, nice.
It is thedouble_platinum_podcast@gmail.com.
Perfect.
You can always we'll put our contact details in places
Absolutely.
as well. I have Twitter. Aaron has Twitter.
Twitter, SoundCloud, Facebook. Maybe
yeah,
not Facebook. Don't want you to find
I have
me.
a Facebook, but I'm lame like that. But yeah, man, like there's always ways to contact us. So I mean, if you like stuff, I mean, we always encourage people to talk to us and
Mhm.
tell us what works, what doesn't. Tell us that we're idiots and shut up, and then we'll maybe listen to you.
We'll
Maybe
fix
we
it
won't. You never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying.
This is something I thought of.
Okay.
Since
Dangerous.
we talk about many thought-provoking things, in general, just thought-provoking things. So
What'd you do?
I thought I would call this little segment "Thought Provokers,"
Okay.
where I'm going to ask you a very thought-provoking question, Drew, and I want you to.
I'm already nervous, by
And
the
I
way.
want you to give me well, the best answer you can come up with. Okay. So my thought-provoking question for you today, it's kind of like a really tough "Would you rather."
Okay.
Now, you love your grandmother, Drew. Very much so. I
I'm
do
really,
too.
really nervous about where this is going right now.
But can we both agree that you love your grandmother?
Yes, yeah, we can agree
She's
on that.
very dear to you. Would you think that there are some concepts that maybe your grandmother doesn't understand about some modern culture things? Just some content that maybe your grandmother isn't aware of.
You know what? I'm
existing.
going to agree to that statement. I mean, she knows a lot of things. She's tech savvy and stuff. We got her cell phone finally, or like a modern cell phone. You're squinting at me and it's making me nervous. Get to your point.
Okay, so back to the question. So your grandmother, that is very near and dear to your heart, Drew. Are you familiar with the movie Team America: World Police?
I'm very familiar.
Uh,
It's Trey Stone and Matt Parker, or is that Trey Parker and Matt Stone?
Tomato,
I don't know.
tomato.
They're independent. They're interchangeable. Both.
Yeah.
It's one of their movies. South Park, ladies and gentlemen, for those who
Yes.
are not aware.
So Team America: World Police, I think we both know it's quite an offensive movie.
Also a musical, by the way.
Also a musical. There you go. And my question of today is: would you rather take your grandmother to see Team America: World Police, and then afterwards explain in great detail everything she may have not understood about that movie, all the scenes and words and phrases and just everything she didn't get. Explain to her exactly what it means in its context.
You're asking me to explain the puppet sex scene is what you're asking me.
I'm wanting you to explain a puppet sex scene and a puppet passing out in a giant puddle of his own vomit to your
Okay.
grandmother. Or
Or
this is your other option. You can choose to do that, explain all of that. Or think of your craziest ex, Drew. Think of some girls that you've seen.
I'm gonna cut
in
you
your
off right
day.
there because I can totally explain that movie. I'm good with that.
Okay, just wait one
No,
second.
no.
No, Drew. Let me finish my question,
All right,
please,
finish
for
your
the sake
question.
of the game. Now, your craziest ex. Picture her very fondly in your head right now. Just her image. God bless her soul. Just on a pedestal in your brain right now. That ex. Now, all you have to do is take her on one date. Okay? But keep this in mind. This is like the date of your life. Okay? You've got fucking blueprints for this date. You're planning this date out from minute one. Okay?
This is far more effort than I actually put into dating, by the way.
This is the most romantic shit you can think of. So I want you to decide. Essentially, do you want to describe to your mother puppet sex and countless other dirty things? Or would you like to take your ex out on one incredibly romantic date? But you have to act completely serious. She's taking this like it's a real date. Afterwards, you have to say, this isn't a real date. This was, my second option.
This was a setup.
Yeah.
By the way,
and then you
psych.
And then you have to,
Then I can
kinda
throw a
deal
smoke
with
bomb
that.
and disappear.
yeah. So, pretty much make every family gathering weird for the rest of your life, or just a really uncomfortable, awkward.
No, you know
night.
what? Your mistake was assuming that my grandmother wasn't cool. My grandmother's pretty badass.
That's
So I'm
actually
going
very
with-
true.
I'm going with the first option because she'd probably just look at me and go, "Why'd you make me watch that movie? That was dumb. That was stupid. You're an idiot." And then that's it. That's the end of that
Fair
conversation.
enough.
We're going together. There's just my ex is my ex for a reason.
See,
Or exes.
I would
Take
probably
your
be the
pick.
complete other way around. My Nona,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah,
she's
but
a
like we're
sweet-
talking like
sweet
a sweet
angel.
sweet old Italian woman, right?
Yeah,
like
that's true.
100% different. 100% different.
Yeah, you wouldn't really. Oh yeah, that'd scare me. I would take all of my exes out on dates,
At
like
the same time.
at the same time, and I'd pay for all of them. At least that way, I'd get a tight dinner out of it and kind of maybe some conversation, other than not looking my grandmother in the eye because she thinks I'm disgusting. So
Well, so again, you're like it's I'd take grandma all day. No,
grandma all
100%.
day, grandma all day. Okay,
That's gonna be really
Fair
weird
enough.
taken out of context.
grandma all day. Is that your get her done?
That's grandma
That-
all day. That's the new get her done.
That's Drew's get her done. You're gonna get that on a shirt. Grandma all day.
Is that our first shirt for the show? Is get grandma all day? It's gotta be like the sweet old lady though.
And then a wink face.
Yeah, there you
Grandma
go.
all day.
Yeah, there you go.
Or
Coming soon to Teespring near you.
it all depends on how you say it. You could say like grandma all day, or you could say grandma all day.
Okay, yeah, but now you're deep
grandma
throating a
all
microphone and it's weird.
day.
You made it weird, Aaron. Yeah, you know what? I had a thought-provoking question that is nowhere near as twisted and evil as yours.
All right, well, throw it at
It
me.
was straight up. Would you rather be a dragon or have a dragon? See, this when you said thought-provoking questions, this is where I was going. I'm like, let's
Yeah.
be silly.
That is thought provoking. Would I rather have a dragon or be
Can
a
I
dragon?
give you my answer?
Well, can I give you my answer
Okay, go.
first?
Give me your answer.
I would much rather own a dragon. Okay.
There you go. 100% of the day.
Because listen, I've never seen a dragon with thumbs before. Okay? And half of the shit I love to do is with my thumbs.
I love how we goes directly for the prehensile thumbs. Not eating people, flying, none of that. I can't have thumbs. You can't DJ without thumbs. Dragons can't DJ.
Can't do anything without thumbs, man. You can't pick anything up. I'm not gonna eat with my mouth for the rest of my life, breathe fire. That's probably a pretty unhappy life. You think Smog's happy sitting around that giant thing of gold?
I
No.
guarantee you he's happy.
Oh yeah, probably. But I think because also you could use the dragon, right?
Yeah, that's a valid
Dude,
statement.
you'd be like-
exactly.
Come over to my house, I have a dragon.
Yeah,
And she
look,
would
no,
be
like,
no, you don't. I would take me. Let
dragon.
If,
I
if-
will give you any amount of
yeah.
money if you don't believe I have a dragon.
If you prove if I prove I have a dragon, you have to go on a date with me. and obviously it's gonna be like you don't have a mythical creature.
Yeah, they're like, haha,
to your
bullshit,
disposal.
you're an idiot, right?
And then it's like, well, meet Frank, and
Call him Frank. That's amazing.
Yeah, man, Frank the Thumbless Dragon.
It's like Pete the Magic Dragon, but or Puff the Magic Dragon. No, and you know what too? Well, let's relate this to music because we've wandered really far from the point of music.
Oh yeah.
Every album is about dragons, and just pictures of your dragon. Everything, like everything is about like we make dragon music for dragons. If Frank likes the track, it goes in the album.
Just
Don't care
like
what it
some
is. Maybe it's just
medieval-
mandolins for 5 minutes, just strumming
Well,
along.
picture sampling
That's
that
it, man.
thing.
Yo, you
off
can get
that-
some crazy samples.
Yo, make a contact library out of dragon sounds.
Call it Dragon Sounds 5,000. It's gonna cost you $5,000.
But you get all the.
But you get all
mythical
my dragon
creatures.
sounds.
Yeah, you get the sounds of having a dragon without actually owning the
Exactly.
creature.
There you go. Because there's only one. There's only gonna be one dragon, and it belongs to Aaron Carter,
Mhm.
folks.
Okay.
But
Now-
speaking of, so yeah, you're gonna say
Yeah, well, we did stray from the path a little bit.
we did.
We strayed quite far from the path, and I'm gonna bring us back to the path.
Well, I was gonna say, you want to know where you could sell that contact library, bring it to market.
Medieval times.
Okay, yeah, all right. That's not where I was going with that. You were looking at me.
industry.
The movie industry, thank you, yes.
that is something I would love to talk about.
Sound in movies.
sound in
particularly
movies,
recent movies.
music in movies, things you hear when you are watching movies.
I mean, everybody can relate to films. We relate to films. Okay, since I was a little kid, let's roll back the old clock here
Yeah.
for a couple minutes. I've always enjoyed everything about films, and particularly the sound design. And I noticed things as a kid
Mm-hmm.
that people who as grown ass adults do not even.
Flies right over the head.
Yeah, totally, 100%. Like there's a term that people in film use called Mickey Mousing, because Disney was the first to do it, and that's when the sound design of either the music or sound effects is mirroring what is happening on screen. So say it's raining and you get like glockenspiels going ding 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 up really kind of high like that.
Yeah.
It's mirroring those things. One of my favorite movies is Fantasia, which I'm sure everybody's seen Fantasia. If you haven't, stop listening to us ramble and go watch Fantasia, and then come back and then continue to let us ramble. But yeah, like that kind of stuff is amazing, and like film scores have only gotten better as time gone on. I mean, it's not. Pardon me. It's not the same thing as it once was, right? Like, did you ever watch old movies like 50s, 60s movies at all?
Let's go even farther back. Let's go. Have you ever seen Metropolis? It's like 19.
Oh, where it's all
15 or
like
really old, yeah, and it's
yeah.
black and white film.
And it's got like the city of the future kind of thing,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
It's, that's actually such a shit example because it's probably I don't think it has any audio.
No, but I think it has something, but it's not.
Yeah,
But
it's
like,
got
okay.
like music. I think I don't think it has
Charlie
voices.
Chaplin. Think
Yeah,
of
there
Charlie
you go.
Chaplin, right? You've
Same
got like
kinda era.
the hype piano. It's like ding 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 ding, like the upright piano kind of
Yeah,
thing.
ragtime almost.
Yeah, that kind of stuff, and like that was the way to relate to people, right? And like that's why film scores are so important. Coming forward in time, if you were an audio artist, so like we talk a lot about in our daily lives about recording artists and that kind of stuff, but like for whatever reason, it feels weird when musicians become actors.
Oh,
Right?
for sure.
Name me one off the top. Ice Cube.
Musicians become actors. Ice Cube, Snoop Dogg, Demi Lovato,
Wait,
Selena
wait.
Gomez.
Snoop Dogg was in a movie?
Was he not in Soul
yes,
Plane Man?
Yes, that's right. Or no, who was in How High?
Snoop Dogg probably.
Yeah,
Like
there's
if it's
any
a
of those. If
movie
there's a movie
that
about
involves
weeds.
marijuana and like the big screen, Snoop Dogg's like, yeah, I'll make a cameo.
He's not even in the
I'll make a
movie. He just
cameo
shows up
for
in the
sure.
background.
He just says, "What's up?"
Yeah,
What's
that's
up,
it.
Snoop?
Or
Oh, he
like
was
he
also
walks-
in Starsky and Hutch.
Yes, he was
His
in Starsky and
iguana's
Hutch.
tail got shot off in that movie.
Yes, yeah. That's right. Yeah, like a whole bunch of people. Justin Timberlake is another one.
That one's not so bad actually for some
Um,
reason though.
No,
I don't know why.
But
But for the
here's
most
the thing.
part,
For the longest time, for whatever reason, we separated those two industries, right?
Mhm.
Film and music, totally separate. But when you go back even like 30 years, they're one and the same thing. Elvis Presley.
Mhm.
Huge. Like everybody knows who Elvis Presley
I was
is.
gonna say it's even weirder when actors become musicians. It's the other way around.
Yeah, but I think a lot of musicians or actors are also musicians. A lot of time, like someone like Keanu Reeves,
Or like Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy, but Eddie Murphy's a comedian as well, right?
Yeah.
Little Richard and all that kind of stuff. But
Donald
like,
Glover.
yeah, Donald Glover. It's we shouldn't think of the two things as independent, but society and corporations have forced us to do that. I mean, even if it's, RCA or not RCA. Wow, I'm showing my age. If you're talking about Universal, Warner,
Yeah.
right? There's Warner Studios, but there's Warner Music, who's owned, I think, by Sony now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
It gets divided. I know Warner also has like video games, and they've got a bunch.
Yeah,
of
there's the video
sections,
game library, but it's not actually owned by Warner, the company. It's owned by another person who likes it.
Yeah, no,
Look, the corporate world is strange and confusing. Try and keep up.
I'm
if
picking
you
up
can,
what you're laying down right now.
What?
I said I'm picking up what you're laying down right now.
Yeah, you're getting me now. But anyway, so if you go back to like the 50s and you think of the Rat Pack, so you got Sammy Davis Jr.,
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra, those guys, singers, arguably some of the most popular singers of their era, also some of the most popular actors.
Mm-hmm.
Because music, while it was popular, was not reaching everybody. And if you wanted
true.
movies to get bigger, you grab the things that are already big. So music is everywhere, right? You've got Vegas shows, you've got the Out West shows, you've got New York, you've got Chicago. So if you want to make your movie big,
You've
what
had
do you
music
do?
longer than you've had television.
Absolutely. So if you want to make your movie big, what do?
You get a big musician.
You
and
get the big musician. And even now, when you're making a movie, how do we make a movie big? Who's really hot in the who's the hot shit of the week right now? You know what?
Channing
Adele
Tatum
Channing-
seems to be.
or like Adele. Say it was Adele with her with Hello and that album. If I was smart and I was making a movie and we had the turnaround times like they did in the 50s and 60s on movies, which is very, very brief because there's no effects or anything like that, you want me in that movie.
Because you're the selling point.
Because that's the selling point, yeah. You want Adele, like, why did James Bond use an Adele song for their opening? Because it's Adele and everybody's listening to Adele.
Exactly.
Right? It's the same. It's the same thing all over the thing. The two are uniquely linked, and I mean, you think about. Let's switch gears and go from pop music to classical, orchestral style compositions. Name me more than 3 orchestral composers. Can you do it?
Isn't Hans Zimmer?
So we got Hans Zimmer.
We got Danny Elfman.
Danny Elfman.
And the only reason I know these is because they're super famous. The third one, I couldn't name you a third one. To be completely honest, they're just.
Star Wars. John Williams.
Oh, John William Scott. No, not John
just
William
John
Scott. That's the actor. That's the guy that was
Sean
American.
William-
Sean
William
That's
Scott.
not even the right name, too. I completely got that wrong.
Thanks
The
for playing.
American Pie actor,
Wrong.
Yeah. Continue,
Minus
Drew. I'll
5
just shut up in the
points.
corner here.
But yeah, so we got those 3, and then Michael Giacchino is another newer one. If you've seen Star Trek, you'll be familiar with his work.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like, I know there's others, and I've heard their work. In fact, graduates of the program that we take, is a fairly big and upcoming composer. But everybody always goes to Hans Zimmer, Danny Elfman, and John Williams. They're prolific composers, and it's a totally different style of music than, say, if you're doing a rock opera or something like that. Like you immediately think of a genre. If you think of Hans Zimmer, I immediately go to either like Inception or Gladiator. Wait, did he do Gladiator? Yeah, he did Gladiator. Or Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Black Hawk Down's
Great.
an amazing score.
Oh, jeez.
Amazing score. Perfect blend of different styles and stuff. And it's something that anybody can relate to. And if the music's bad, especially if you are into music, that shit stands out, man. You know,
Oh, for sure.
instantly. It's like,
you
I
have
don't
your
know.
favorite composers.
Yeah, but even if it's not your favorite composers, because you're like, I wonder who did the music in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so and so. I don't know who that is, but they did a great job. But the minute it's bad,
Yeah.
you are like I don't care how good the action on screen is. Like, nope, I don't like it. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I don't like it. And it's always gonna be the music or the sound design or whatever. And you're just like, no, this is bad. I don't know who that is, but they should feel bad and they should be fired out of a cannon. Never fired from their job, straight out of a cannon. You goofed.
Yes.
It's bad.
And speaking of, you said John Williams, right?
I did say John Williams.
And I mistakenly called him
Sean William Scott.
Sean William Scott from American Pie.
Not even close, but thanks
Oh,
for trying.
quite. Yeah, that's like straight up offensive to that guy almost. But no. I want to talk about since we are talking about movies and we're talking about
Right.
sound. A good movie that I recently saw, Star Wars.
Yep.
The Force Awakens.
You and a billion other people.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm the only one that really got it, though. You know.
Are you sure? Are
Really
you sure?
got it. Yeah.
Kylo Ren was talking to you the whole movie, eh?
Exactly. But what I found was when you're watching a movie,
Yeah.
as much as cinematography and beautiful effects and things blowing up and everything are, as awesome as that is, nothing can back a movie up like music can.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you can have an entire movie, saying their lines, shot beautifully. Picture
Mhm.
Star Wars. Picture Star Wars without the music.
It can't be done.
It can't.
It is designed to go hand in hand.
Exactly. Because when you think of Star Wars, you automatically think of dun da 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 dun 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 dun.
It's our royalty.
That's there you go. That's my best Star Wars impression. But instantly, it's got that connection. Same with Lord of the Rings. It's got that theme song. Every great
Yeah,
movie
and like
has great music to it that makes it distinguishable. And it's to the point where you can just hear the song. You can hear a clip from the song. You could play the first 5 seconds of the Star Wars theme.
and you know what
And
it is.
you know exactly what. And that's the power that these film composers have.
Oh, it's an amazing amount of power. And like when you're writing those kind of movies too, like we talked about it a little bit earlier, and it's like you wrap the two together. They are you
Peanut butter and jam.
Yeah, like
Mm.
they're one and the same thing. They cannot be separated.
Exactly.
The movie is written around the music as much as the music is written into the movie.
Mm.
Other stuff, like if you're talking about like your generic rom-com kind of a thing, whatever the hot shit of the week is, throw it in the movie. It'll sound good.
Oh yeah.
Let's throw some killers in there. Let's
Yeah.
we were talking the other day. We were just messing around with sounds in studio, and it was like I don't know what we're doing right now, but this is like the sad walking away scene, or like
Yeah.
the dude's driving his car and he's crying. Like you can write a whole movie based on those sounds.
Exactly.
And the thing is, it doesn't matter what sounds it is, but it's gonna work.
It's crazy
right?
how sounds are linked to feelings, thoughts, and emotions too.
It's the oldest form of language.
Like you hear a raindrop and you're like instantly that's like a sad kind of like
Yeah,
darker tone. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just
absolutely.
instantly.
Well, music is the oldest language we have.
Exactly.
It's something that It's like music and math are the two things that speak universally to all cultures on
Mhm.
Earth, regardless of where you're from.
Yeah.
And math and music is math, and math is music. I know.
Essentially.
Let that sink into your brain.
Whoa.
But yeah, to get into some more serious topic here, because we're getting a little long in the tooth. One of the things that is always interesting to us as audio engineers and audio
Mhm.
professionals is trade shows. Right.
Absolutely.
Everybody that knows anything about technology knows that the first big trade show of the year for technology is CES. Happens in Las Vegas every year in the
Exactly.
middle of January.
Gotta get your nerd boner on, Drew.
Exactly. And the thing is that applies to us as music technology because it shows us what's coming in technology that can help us improve the studio. Things like Thunderbolt. Everybody, if you're in audio, knows that the standard now is Thunderbolt for all of your audio interfaces. Which unfortunately means we're all kind of tied to Mac unless you want to get crazy with some PC stuff. The next big thing, and this is more directly related to us, is NAMM. And you admitted to me earlier, you have no idea what NAMM is, right?
I've heard of NAMM. I've seen photos. I kind of have an idea of what it is. I know UAD's. I've just pretty much been seeing UAD stuff because I follow them on Instagram.
Yeah.
They have a big kind of thing going on. In
Yeah,
NAMM.
there's lots of stuff.
Yeah, the UAD setup was like a retro studio it looked like from the 40s or 50s or something, and they just kind of replicated it to kind of compare probably their older
New
stuff
school
with their
versus
new
old school-
yeah
new school.
exactly. But I'll toss the name over to you because you probably have a better idea of
Yeah,
what it's
so
all about.
I follow a little more. NAMM is my CES when it comes to music here, right?
Mhm.
For those that have no idea, it's called the National Association of Music Merchants. It is held every year in Anaheim. It's this time of the year, January 20. What's today? 21st to 24th.
Yeah.
It's 21st to 24th. It's gotten bigger, which is nice.
Mhm.
And the short of it is, it's for trade people only, so it's not open to the public, unfortunately. But it's for all the different audio designers and workshops to showcase their new gear for the coming year.
Mhm.
If you are a reseller or retailer, you book for like, oh yeah, I like your preamps. We'll order 300 or
Mhm.
whatever, and
Place your orders.
yeah,
kinda
you
get
start
what
to place
want.
your orders with what you're coming out. I know Audio Technica had some great new microphones.
Oh, I'm excited to see
Um,
that actually.
There's some new plugins and stuff that are coming out, like UAD had stuff. There was
UAD's on top with plugins.
UAD kind of has the market cornered for high quality audio gear.
It's because they
Um,
make the
I mean, they
the
make the
plugin.
Apollo, and
the thing is they make the hardware, then they make the software to copy.
yeah,
And it's like, oh,
exactly. So
man,
they've
how do
also
you
not
beat
only do
that?
they have their own plugins, they've also got their own hardware to emulate. So if you've worked with the 1176
Yep.
compressor units, that's Yuri. It's also made by Universal Audio, right? So they have the ability to
Mhm.
meticulously replicate that device,
Well, it just
right?
makes it super easy for anybody who is like, I've worked with this, I've
Yeah.
touched these knobs, but I
Touch
You
and go.
know,
There's a thing that can be used out of context.
I've been here. I've touched these knobs. I've fondled this compressor, but seeing it on the
Click
screen,
its buttons.
you can.
But it's familiar.
Yeah,
is what we're
exactly.
getting at. And so NAMM is really big in that. Korg usually does a big display. I know last year they had Jordan Rudess and his orchestra, which is 3 keyboards, a couple of iPads, and a prog drummer. And it was incredible. It's a whole prog band, but that's it. It was very, very, technical playing. Obviously, if you are involved in the music trade, you can probably get in. So, it would be nice to go to
Yeah,
NAMM one day.
For sure. That'd be amazing.
Studios go because studios will work out stuff direct with dealers like I will, want your reverb unit or what have you. There was a big thing. So to link back to your audio writing thing, Waves Audio has this thing called the DigiPlus Sound Grid. At least I think it's a DigiPlus Sound Grid. And that's for routing signal and having a more flexible routing system using audio over Ethernet. They unveiled a whole new thing with that. So, it's a big deal. We don't want to go too much into detail, but we just want to mention that that's a big thing. If you're into music, check it out. Look it up. And it gives you an idea of what's coming out. So if you're looking for your home studio or something like that, you can have an idea of, oh, hey, here's the new thing from UAD or here's the new thing from whatever. Focusrite had an update to their Thunderbolt interfaces.
Oh yeah.
A bunch of other stuff. So much of the audio industry is small incremental updates, right? So we have version 1 last year. Well, we've spent the last year. Now we have version 1.5, and we get to work with it. We're using microphones in the studio that are probably 10, 20 years old in their design. They haven't changed,
But they sound gorgeous.
but they sound great. They sound really well, and that's what it's all
It's
about.
not broken, don't fix it.
Well, exactly. That the audio industry lives by that.
You make a good product.
But yeah, that's kind of it. But yeah, we're getting to a wrapping up point here.
Yeah, there's a few
Couple of things we wanna
last
talk about,
things
but-
just for anybody interested in continuing to listen and kind of knowing what's in it for you guys. Because
It's not enough to just
you
hear
can just
two guys.
you can just sit here and listen to 2 people all day. But
You got to get something
you have to
out
get
of it.
something.
And we want to
exactly.
and we want to
wanna
get something.
back.
I was
We
saying
want to get
something out of you.
involved.
Yeah, we want to
is
give
what
back
we
to our
kinda wanna
audience.
do.
And in that vein, we have we don't have a title for the section yet, but it's going to be a shout out section.
Mhm.
If you have a project, and this is anybody listening in our audience, if you have any kind of audio or video project or whatever,
Yeah.
if you have something that you would like shouted out live on the air, send us an email. So again, that's the Double Platinum
Even,
Podcast.
Like a description with what you got too.
Anything, links.
We're open.
We'll
to,
talk about it. We'll pick stuff. We'll also link. Maybe we'll pick the best 3. That'll be up to our discretion, or maybe we'll put a poll up. We'll see how this runs. But we'll put it up. You guys can give us your thoughts and input, and then we'll shout it out in the show. And if you don't make it in the show, hey, don't worry. We're gonna put you in our show doc, right? Because we always have a link doc of all the things we're talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Other than that, you got any other plugs you really want to run through?
We're just gonna be having a weekly podcast, just so everyone knows. It's probably gonna be uploaded around Friday afternoon. And we have music we want to show you. We're gonna be talking about new artists, new CDs. We're gonna try to keep everyone super updated. We didn't want to tack on anything too heavy on the first episode, just so you guys could get a casual listen.
Got to ease into it. It's kind of
exactly.
It's like a gimp suit. You got to kind of
Yeah.
lather up and slide
You
in
did-
real slow.
You just gotta stick the tip in. But
Just a tip, just for a second.
But just so you guys know, we're here for you guys. But
Absolutely.
and if you want to even come on the show, we can.
Yep.
We're
Again, email us.
going to be interviewing artists. We're going to be not just artists, just interesting people with
Interesting
great
people,
insight.
anybody.
Anybody. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope it's something you guys want to listen to more of, because we're going to be doing more of it.
Yep.
And hey,
whether you like it or not.
if you want to listen and enjoy it, you can benefit from it too. So
Absolutely,
we like to
guys.
think everybody wins.
Yeah. So good show, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll see you Friday.
Have a good day.
Bye bye.